Ladies and gentlemen, this is Project StarCraft. And we're going to fix the UI for just a second, but we're good to go. On Metalopolis, everyone's favorite map from the beta, we've got a Zerg vs. Zerg from Reddit casting his, or introducing his opponent first, the enemy, in the blue trunks. Spawning as the Zerg, we have Fiery. Now our hero has the two overlords kiss over Kerrigan's Pleasure House. Spawning in the far right position, we have spawning in the red trunks, our Rocky, our superhero for this fight. We have our red Zerg, iLuminate. I light up. It looks like he's been sick and he's crying lots and lots of tears, but hopefully we will destroy that. So everyone knows Metalopolis. It's been around since the beta. You've got lots of space in your base. You've got some gas vents over here. It leads down into your natural, which is pretty wide open and kind of difficult to defend. It leads to an easy third, and it's very easy to split up the map into two halves. The middle of the map actually shows two watchtowers, which watch over the middle bases that have gold and high yield minerals. So these watchtowers are definitely critical in making sure that you can see any kind of ground movement. But also in the case of ZvZ, there should be overlords everywhere on the map to be able to spot any kind of counter or any kind of play. So both overlords from both starting players are actually placing some stuff down. We actually see iLuminate actually placing a 15 hatch down. And in response to that, we see it looks like a 14 pool and a 15 gas. So it looks like we're going to see a speedling probably opening, but iLuminate, not to be outdone, actually has a spawning pool pretty close to being behind. So the advantage that iLuminate's going to have is that if he's able to keep that base, is he's going to be able to hold that advantage and actually have a macro advantage going into the game. Now, Fiery is going to be able to have some upgraded Zerglings out first, so he's going to be able to need to utilize that to either gain and control the map, or be able to actually just lock down that expansion completely so that iLuminate can't utilize the expansion. So normally ZvZ start out with Ling Bling shenanigans, maybe a little bit of a roach here and there, as we see Speedling and a Queen being started for Fiery, and 3 sets of Lings, which normally implies a lot of pressure is actually going to happen, as iLuminate responds with just 1 set of Zerglings. So a lot of it is just surviving the first 5 minutes and then going from there. We saw some crazy stuff in the GSL the other night. Nesty and Dongray Gu actually being able to do a lot of stuff, some Ling Bling shenanigans happening, and some very amazing play. Definitely one of the top 5 games that are going on this year. And as we see, and as I cast that, both players are actually going Bling, but the advantage is going to Fiery since he's going to have Speedlings on the way. So iLuminate is kind of in a tricky position, but it's definitely going to be... Fiery's definitely has the attacker's burden right now, so he definitely has to attack and do some damage. And iLuminate is actually microing his Zerglings just a little bit and actually bringing down his queen down into his main base. Looks like, does he have vision of what's going on? Yeah, he's got 1 overlord, but it looks like it's moderately hidden from the 4 Banelings that are warping in. So both players actually at a standstill. iLuminate actually utilizing his first queen to act as some sort of wall or tunnel some of the units that are in there. But he's actually got a second one on the way. So if we go to the unit counting station, iLuminate's up by 2 drones with 16 to 14. And we see an attack going in. We see 1 Baneling actually taking out quite a few Zerglings that are right there. Speedling actually kicks in, and the 4 Banelings are just running around, but oh, very close right there. iLuminate almost loses that. The Queen actually doing a good job of blocking down the units that are up there. Banelings are able to completely walk by. 1 Baneling actually gets taken down, and iLuminate trains the drones a little bit. It looked like he was doing a pretty good split, but the drones are all split up right here. Oh, oh no! Oh my goodness, like, why are those Banelings not blowing up on anything? Like, that has to be a micro error, but he actually detonates those Banelings and actually kills a couple of drones right here, but actually only kills 1 drone, so iLuminate actually capitalizing on Fiery's mistake and being able to get out with most of his drones. Now we see a slew of more Zerglings and more Banelings being warped in, and iLuminate actually doing a round of drones, which might be a little bit dangerous, but actually taking another queen and actually completely blocking most of that area in. These banelings are actually running in. And oh no, they look like they're blowing up on a lot of the drones that are there. It looks like about 9 drones went down, and that added to the one that was killed previously. So iLuminate is down 10 workers, but he's still up in the supply count. So he's back to 12 drones, only down to Fiery by 2. But the thing is that he's got an expansion, so he's going to be able to repop those guys out pretty quickly. So even though a lot of damage has been done, nothing terminal yet, so iLuminate is still in this game. Now Fiery is still pumping out lots of Zerglings, and he's definitely trying to kill him. I really want to peek at the time of the game that we did miss. So we actually go back into the game here. We see Zergling trying to get in and see what he can do here, and the Spine Crawler just locks that down with 6 kills. So 14 links coming out for iLuminate, and he's repositioning these banelings that are right here. The banelings actually run in and get poked and don't do anything. So every single volley that Fiery is throwing at him, iLuminate's being able to absorb the attack and not do a whole lot. Right now, I would pull back, be a little bit more defensive, and get your expansion up and just try. I mean, the gas isn't coming in as fast as you need it to in order to be, you know, sacrificing all these units over and over again, and he's got the money to be able to expand behind something. So the more and more as this game goes on and iLuminate's able to take a further advantage, it's definitely going to be a longer game now. We see a macro hatch happening in the base as another attack comes. We see these this small group of Zerglings actually run in, and a lot of stuff runs by and actually gets into the main base, and these banelings actually do quite a bit of terminal damage, and right there taking out a bunch of drones right there. And the food counts are even again, but it's because we've got 8 supply worth of Zerglings actually on the way. So we go to the unit counting station. 23 workers have been killed, and iLuminate is still slightly behind in drones. He's about 2 supply behind. So we actually see a queen actually being produced and actually poking the overlord that was there. So we see some Zerglings being able to run by, and it looks like Baneling from Fiery was able to lock a lot of that stuff down. And another string of Zerglings actually come in, and we see a Baneling actually trying to get in the action and actually doesn't blow up on anything. So some transfusions going down from iLuminate and actually able to take all that down. So we see that macro hedge just now kicking in, but the amount of income that's to both players is very little. Even though Fiery has more drones, he's not mining nearly as enough minerals, and 3 guys are on gas. So Fiery is he's digging himself into a deeper hole every time, but there's a lot of times when he's been really successful in holding a lot of that off. Now he's utilizing some creep tumors to spread some creep up, and being able to throw a Spine Crawler right there to be able to do some damage before things happen. One Baneling going down, actually taking that out, and actually able to clean a lot of that up. Using 2 transfuses to bring that Spine Crawler back to full health. He's definitely getting his money out of that. So he walks and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna take care of that before things get too hairy. And then it's like, oh shit, it's got full health. What happened? So we actually get into a point of the game where it's kind of stabilized. Fiery's trying to be a little bit cute with the Banelings and actually trying to run around, see what kind of damage he can do with it. He's actually doing a staging area right here. Let's see if these Banelings are able to do a whole lot. They actually get in and take out quite a few Banelings in exchange for another Baneling as well. So 26 workers being killed. We're checking that kind of every time that happens. If I was iLuminate, I would take both of the worker rallies and bring them back up to the main base. I mean, yeah, you're going to lose some mining time, but if you've blocked this up, and it looks like you definitely constipated that area with some queens, not a whole lot's going to be able to run by. And if it runs by, it's going to run in very, very defensively. And you can also put some Banelings up here to be able to help with any kind of run-bys. Just have them up there and chill, and they'll run into the closest Baneling. So we see a good chunk of Zerglings, and another set of Banelings actually run by, and the one Baneling takes out quite a few Marines right there, but there's 4 Banelings that aren't able to do anything. The Banelings get in and take out so many more drones. So Fiery's able to exchange pretty well, but since iLuminate's onto base, and it looks like that he's still in more drones, even building some more, he's going to be able to keep capitalizing on this. So we see some Zerlings running in, and I mean that's the thing that Fiery's doing, is that every time Illuminate tries to counterattack, he gets banelinged by one baneling that's along this highway of death. So I think Illuminate needs to just drone a little bit, make sure to actually have this baneling actually up high to help any kind of shenanigans. We see two Zerglings actually running by through here, actually maybe trying to do a little flank, and let's say they're going to be cute and morph into some banelings, and they are. So it looks like that Illuminate is taking a little bit of ice and moving some of his drones up to his other base. And he's still mining gas, but he's only mining gas with one worker. But as we see some banelings actually morphing in, they're actually just walking right in there. And if he's not careful, he's actually going to lose a lot of these guys. Now, the spine crawlers actually take them out pretty effectively. So as the game goes on more and more and more, the more Illuminate is going to actually take an advantage, not only with income, because I mean he's pretty much at prime saturation in the main base, at least for minerals. So we actually see a Ling run by, actually walking up here, actually not dying to a set of banelings that actually happen, and we see a running into the base, and it looks like they're trying to take care of some of the units that are right there, but the Zerglings are on hold position, and looks like they fall, but they're able to take 4 drones with them, but that's not necessarily a... Well, it's a good exchange. I mean, the more drones that you kill, the lower the income's going to be, especially with it being so low. I mean, just having it, you know, killing 30 workers to 25 workers ain't a big deal, but killing 12 workers to 7 workers, that's a lot of damage, even with some additional banelings running in and taking a lot of that stuff out. So we see a Roach Warren coming down for Illuminate. He's tired of all the baneling run bys, and he's actually starting to get really pissed off about it. So he's actually going to get some Roaches, which are pretty good against banelings, and they're okay against, or they're not really great against Zerglings, at least on their own, but with 18 Zerglings on, you know, to back them up and lock them in position, those Roaches are going to be able to do a lot of damage on their own. So Fiery is abusing the shit out of this one, out of that one queen, just double injecting, and we see that Fiery still has a pretty good idea of what kind of base that Illuminate has. We see Illuminate putting down a evolution chamber to be able to control Fiery's attack path a little bit. And we see a line of Zerglings actually run in, and that one baneling could be able to get a lot of kills, taking out quite a few Zerglings right there, about 8, but not fully locking it down, actually canceling the hatchery that's right there. And we see some Zergling on Zergling action. If he's not careful, that baneling's gonna fuck shit up. And it just did, and that one Zergling's like, I'm free! Let's look around, see what's going on! Hey, Queenie! And he just gets fucked up. So, still lots of crazy shenanigans going on, but Fiery doesn't know about the Roach transition quite yet, but we'll see if he gets an eye of the units that actually come out. And Illuminate, however this ends, well played. Trying to be the Manor Zerg. And Fiery has a pretty good grasp on the situation, going on way behind. And he knows it. I mean, Lane Bling, it's, like I said, it's pretty much who survives. And he was able to survive. He was able to actually thrive through it. And, I mean, Fiery was doing a pretty good job of applying a lot of demand, or a lot of damage. And Illuminate's play wasn't perfect. I mean, he did lose a lot of units, but being able to get that fast expansion is definitely important now. Those banelings actually running into Roaches, and that's definitely not what you want to do. You want to send the Zerglings in first to provide a buffer for the Roaches. And we got 2 more banelings actually on the way, actually morphing in. And it looks like they're going to apply their damage to the Roaches that are right there. And we see some Lings trying to get by, and the Roaches actually run through. The Zerglings provide the wall that's needed. And they actually are able to get into the base. And there's really not, well, with the Roaches providing a little bit of damage, they're able to do okay, but they're not going to be able to do so much. Epic micro. And those Roaches actually get mopped up. Without any kind of other Zerglings to provide a little bit of buffer for the Roaches, they're going to be losing a lot of damage. But going back to Illuminate's base, he's on 42 drones. He's about to get his 3rd gas, or 2nd and 3rd gas, and he's mining fully. So you know, he can play whatever game he kind of wants to now. And since the transition to roaches, you know, you get a good bunch of roaches. You get about 7 roaches. And that run by is not as effective, especially the fact that the Zerglings are kind of being schizophrenic. You get about 7 roaches and be able to utilize that as damage dealers to, with Zergling and Baneling support. We see a tap out from Fiery and some mana from both players. So, some good stuff. Fiery definitely all in with the Ling Bling. He was successful in a lot of his attacks, but iLuminate did a good job of being able to have enough units and enough structure support to be able to not be fully killed, and he's able to remacro that back up. So, good job, iLuminate.